Well, let's move on to other news now, and another NHS scandal, this time from the 1970s and 80s, when thousands of people were infected with HIV and hepatitis C. Tony Summers from the Vale of Glamorgan lost his son after his blood was contaminated. Today, an inquiry into what exactly went wrong began to hear evidence from those affected. Kevin Ashford was there for Wales at 6.
It has been a long and often frustrating battle for campaigners, but today's hearing was seen as a crucial step in their efforts to try to get answers in what's been described as the biggest scandal in NHS history. In the 1970s and 1980s, thousands of patients in the UK were treated with blood products that had been imported, often from the United States. It was blood plasma that was infected with HIV and hepatitis viruses. As a result, between 1,500 to 2,000 people died, and hundreds more people are living with the consequences of that infection. Tony Summers, who lives near Cardiff, was at today's hearing. His son Paul died in 2008 as a result of receiving infected blood.
I hope I'm looking at the beginning of the end. You have to look at it that way. I've been involved for over 30 years, and in the last 5 to 10 years intensively trying to get to the stage with visits to Westminster, meeting various MPs, being turned down, rejected. So to be here today is an achievement for all the families to see it start.
As the hearings develop, important trends will come out about how these victims have been affected, how they've been let down, and then next year we're going to hear evidence from the various decision makers, and that will be very interesting then to see again about how people can be held to account for what's happened.
The hearing is being headed up by the former High Court Judge Sir Brian Langstaff. In his opening remarks, he promised that the inquiry would be frightened of no one when it came to trying to find out how this treatment disaster was allowed to happen. And he promised to put people at the heart of proceedings. The inquiry will hold sessions around the country to allow witnesses to give evidence. It could last up to 3 years. And very poignantly, victim support groups estimate that between 250 and 300 more of those affected will not live to see the inquiry's conclusions.
Kevin Ashford there.